Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that I have been summoned once again. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, to a post, an official Wuthering Waves post over here, the Resonator review of the Scorched Radiance Zoni. And boy, oh boy, is there a bit of a discussion already being had. Some individuals are viewing Kuro Games giving a bit of a mini guide for a character on their rerun, something that they do every single rerun, and they're viewing it as an attack on me. Some individuals saying, oh, look, you got Kuro Games telling Saint how to play Zani themselves. You got Ryuku Sensei with a take like that. This is for the clowns out there that have trouble playing her, I guess. And then we have a comment from one of my one of my most favorite CCs out there, Schizo of the Abyss. If Saint had any consistency, he would see this as a direct attack, like he did with all those fun clears from the Woo-Wah official community. It is almost like they are aware of his ego. This is the post. And you see that there are a bunch of individuals out there that have attempted to weaponize a mini guide that Kuro posted on a character's rerun and said that it's like Kuro exposing my skill issue or something. And I have a quote retweet over here that I think really just describes the situation. If Sarah Schizo had any consistency, she would check herself into a mental institution ASAP to treat her terminal case of Saint derangement syndrome. I think that's probably the best way to sum it up. And so this is going to be my one statement. And anyone that's played Wuthering Waves recently should be able to resonate with this statement as well. Sarah, Ryuku, my only wish is for you to live a normal life. I know it's going to be hard, but that's kind of just what I wish can occur at this point, because their disease, ladies and gentlemen, is terminal. So with that out of the way, I think that this does actually present a good opportunity to actually discuss the pull value of a unit like this in the present day, knowing that we have the official rerun for Zani coming up. And of course, after that, right, ladies and gentlemen, after that official rerun, the anniversary for this game, with units like Hiyuki, Denya, and of course, the massive number of rerun banners that people are expecting moving forward. And so a lot of people are asking, okay, I've seen a lot of Zani clips floating around of some crazy clears. I've also seen a lot of Zani clips around of her barely clearing floor 4. Just how valuable is this unit, and how valuable is this unit right now? And I think the best person to answer that question wouldn't be me, especially surrounding the idea, right, that I'm so shit at the game that I'm, you know, what's Saint gonna say? Everyone is delusional, but Saint, kick him out of the community. Rip, clown, and taunt. Don't know why they prefer to trust Saint over somebody who's a true expert. Oh, he's so butthurt. He ran from floor 4 to double pause matrix. Let's take this tweet in mind. Don't know why they prefer to trust Saint over someone who's a true expert at the game. Why don't we ask the true expert over here, ladies and gentlemen, just how good this team is? Wallenstein's. How good the Zani Phoebe Shorekeeper team is. The one that's being recommended over here by the developers themselves, right? How good it is without quick swap. Because this is the thing. Zani, but I didn't quick swap for the casual player. So first things first, I just want to say, Wallenstein's is kind of lying a little bit over here. If you don't think that's quick swap, I think you're on crack cocaine, but because there's 2 characters on the field at the same time. This is a somewhat casual rotation, but it's a giga sweaty casual rotation, which kind of defeats the purpose, right? So I don't know if it's safe to say that most players that are pulling Zani for the first time or pulling Phoebe for the first time are just going to bust out clears like this. They're still going to need a fair amount of practice. Yeah, you let me know. You kind of like let me know what's going on over here and how you feel about that one. It's a little bit sweaty. So the end result is that this clear is a little bad. Wallenstein's, right, is doing a casual rotation where the main thing is that he simply doesn't quick swap over Zani while she's doing her nightfall attacks. You can see that that's kind of the only thing that's going on, but he quick swaps pretty much everywhere else in the rotation. This is more like I quick swap for 90% of the rotation and then I don't quick swap when Zani's in her ultimate. That kind of is a bit more of an accurate representation of the gameplay here. You can see that's pretty much just what's happening firsthand. And the end result is that this team clears, yeah, but not particularly well. You can see that it takes about 39... Well, you only have 9 minutes and 46 seconds left to clear, at least with the 3-star. And anything beyond that, you're going to get a 2-star. And remember, that is Wallenstein's clear while he's busting out quick swap moves like this throughout his rotation. That's not a particularly great clear time, right? Most people would say for a new unit or a whole new team that you're deciding, sorry, 9 seconds. For a whole new unit with a whole new team that you're pulling with, and this is the big part, you're pulling Zani and her signature. You're also pulling Phoebe with her signature. And guess what, Shorekeeper? Yeah, she has her signature too. For a full 6-cost team with 3 5-star limited units and 3 5-star limited signatures, you're quick swapping throughout the rotation on every single character except for Zani during her ultimate, and you managed to get a clear time that looks like this. Most people are going to say that's not very good. Most people are going to say that's kind of like an inefficient use of your resources, and most people are going to say that that is really not a great pull value. And I'm going to tend to agree with that. I'm going to tend to say that's absolutely correct. And so I congratulate Wallenstein for deciding to, bravely put out gameplay like this, because he's basically confirming that, yes, my take was right. If you don't quick swap with this character, she's one of the worst possible fucking teams to pull in the game. And Wallenstein's barely, one of the best players ever, right? He barely clears while putting this much quick swap into his actual casual rotation. I'll just confirm to you firsthand that I'm essentially doing the same thing in my gameplay real fast first. So this is just me doing very, very similar things to Wallenstein's. Just a little bit of quick swap. I'm getting a little bit more spicy with it. Yeah, I'm getting hit a bit more, but it's not really interrupting my shit. You can kind of see what's going on over here, right? We're doing swaps and all of that. I managed to clear this floor. Let's just see what my clear time ends up being. Wait, am I on Luke at that point? Sorry, I got it mixed up. Here we go. This is what my clear time ends up being with a similar level of probably equivalent gameplay to Wallenstein's. You can see over here, we basically clear at the same time. I'm about 2 seconds behind him. With the only reason me being 2 seconds behind him is the fact that I don't have Shorekeeper's signature, so I don't have the big attack buffs like he does of like 14% over here. So that's the main difference in clear times, and that's why I'm about 2 seconds behind Wallenstein's there. Otherwise, we essentially have the same exact clear. However, you saw that the rotation I was doing, I was inputting some quick swap and stuff like that, right? I was making sure to actually go to and from the characters before I'm on Zani because, well, that's kind of what you needed to clear. And so now I have gameplay over here of what a Zani clear actually looks like when you put in no quick swap at all anywhere in the rotation. And we'll just watch this whole run so you guys can see firsthand just how rough it can be. And think about it this way. 98, if not more, % of the people pulling the Zani character, right? They will be doing the exact same stuff that I'm doing here, but worse. You're probably going to be slower than me as you're doing this rotation. You're probably not going to have as good of an echo investment as me when you're doing this rotation. Let's just see it. Because remember, we're taking this from the position of somebody that just pulled Zani, just pulled her signature, just pulled Phoebe, and just pulled Phoebe's signature too in 3.2 second half. Miss one Heron reset. I mean, we need everything we can get in this fucking team, bro. I'm gonna be honest. We need everything we can get with this team. Playing like this. I'm doing these dodge cancels. A new player to the team is probably not going to do that. Just so you know, I am juicing it up this run still.
All of you at once. I don't do overtime. Come at me. Reduce to dust. That's a wrap.
You might be wondering why I did that. It was for extra energy. Would casuals even do the Phoebe cancels? Probably not.
In war with time.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't.
If
We're going to be entirely real. So, like...
Sentinel protection. Judgment time. Bluebird. Be my salvation.
Throwing a hit in there, too, to be fair.
Power of the Sentinel.
No contest. All yours. I don't have.
All right, we gotta get some. Yeah, we have a bit of an ER issue here because we're even at 124. This is not really working out that well. That's also true. So you can see over here, the time looks all right. It's not the best thing ever, but it's not the worst thing ever, right? Now we're just gonna go ahead and skip ahead. You guys already see how the rotations are looking. Let's see what the actual clear time looks like here. Some optimizations over here for this.
Don't stand in my way.
Just like duty. Silence.
You ready? We're past Wallenstein's time right now. Because, of course, we didn't do any of the quick swap to speed up the rotations. We just did actual 1, 2, 3s with a lot of dodge cancels.
My shield can
That clears with 1 second. 1.22 seconds left. That clears with 1.22 seconds left. When the only thing we did differently here, guys, was, of course, take out the actual massive amount of quick swap that Wallenstein's is doing here. Remember, this is what he's doing here. Throwing in all of these cancels and stuff like that to speed up his rotations. Ladies and gentlemen, the end result of doing all of this and the end result of running all these practices is very, very, very clear. Zani is essentially the worst 6-cost team in the game with signatures and all of that unless you quick swap. And if you decide not to quick swap, all you do are optimize rotations without quick swapping, she will perform on average worse than pretty much every other team in the game. I think the only competition that she has is with units like Zhang Liao and Yinlin. She's in a race for bottom place when it comes to premium teams. And so this is simply the ask over here, ladies and gentlemen, that you know and you understand what you are getting yourself into if you do decide to actually invest in this team. Chances are, if you're a newer player and you don't know just how much echo investment is going to be required, because guys, this is what my Zani looks like. The Zani that got the clear, this is her stat investment. We have really, really good echoes on her. A lot of them are 4 out of 5s. Couple of 3 out of 3s and stuff, 3 out of 5s and stuff like that. This is heavily invested. I have her signature. I have Phoebe's. And the main thing is that I don't have Stellar Symphony, but I'm using an R5 variation instead. And the performance of this team is so wickedly bad in comparison to pretty much any other 6-cost team in the fucking game that you are forced to quick swap on it, or you will just simply not clear, or you will barely fucking clear. And if you don't quick swap at all, you don't do what Wallenstein's is doing here, because he's doing a lot of quick swap to optimize his pre-Zani rotation setups, you're just not going to clear unless you have echo investment that looks like mine. And like I said before, I think this is a very well-invested Zani that has a lot of stats. And so if you're not willing to spend thousands of tuners, thousands of tubes to get your Zani to this level, get ready to play the game like a job, spend hours learning her rotation after spending all of the resources over here, right, to get this team in the first place. You have to spend a lot to just barely get passable clears. The investment side, the echo side, the astrite side, the weapon side, and of course, the rotation skill side as well. This character requires probably like 2 or 3 times as many inputs in terms of resources, including your time, compared to anyone else on the roster. And if that's what you want, go for it. However, if you're going to go into this expecting a power level that's even slightly similar to a prior release, you're going to get fucked. You're going to get ruined. And the one thing that you're probably going to do is, like, low-key just quit the fucking game. You might just decide to stop playing. Because a lot of other recent releases, right, have basically shown us that this unit, this Zani unit over here, she's kind of a bit of a joke. And I think the only thing that I need to show you guys over, it's something that I'll grab over from one of my past YouTube live streams that really encapsulates the entire argument and makes it abundantly clear where some people are going to make some massive fuck-ups, is to simply just show, you probably already heard it, a much lower cost team that clears with way better results. Let me just play this ending part of this rotation over here. That's more Teffy, Augusta, and Shorekeeper. That Shorekeeper still has a variation. She does not have Stellar Symphony. I don't even own the weapon, and this is on my account, so there's no way it could have been equipped. That Mortefi is also on a Static Mist, a standard weapon, so that doesn't count for anything either. This is a 3-cost team relative to the 6-cost team that Wallenstein showed over here. He quick swaps. During this rotation, he quick swaps and plays a 6-cost team and barely clears with 10 fucking seconds left. This team, though, you can't quick swap on this team. It's not possible because then Augusta's Majesty doesn't work. So you can't quick swap. Shorekeeper's on a budgetary weapon. Mortefi's also just free alongside Static Mist. And so the only fully equipped unit over here is Augusta.
Inferno! Burn to ashes! Let's do this another way.
This is my moment.
And this is what the clear ends up looking like, ladies and gentlemen. Just take a look at this.
Control. Barely found it. Stand tall for the eternal sun. Yeah.
247.03 compared to 239. He played sweatier. He has more investment. He has double the number of limited characters and signatures. Better echoes as well, probably. And what's the end result when it comes to this team that has literally half the cost? Can't quick swap, so it's an easier rotation to play too.
It ends now.
It clears so much faster, it's crazy. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Augusta is 100% a character that's probably going to rerun during the anniversary. Augusta is 1000% a unit that's likely to be there in the next patch. And if you're looking for a character that's going to clear content, right? If you're looking for a character that's going to add to your account, if you're looking for a character that's going to make you get better use cases on your roster, that's just a better pick. Because this is the thing. Zani with Phoebe, premium team, barely fucking clears even with quick swap. And without it completely, it hardly fucking clears at all with 1 second left and doesn't with better echo and with worse echo investment. You also have the incredible barrier and the huge drawback of having one of the most unreusable units in the fucking game in the form of Phoebe. When you build this team, this Zani Phoebe team, and you kind of need their signatures if you're not going to quick swap, guess where the reuse is? Nowhere. You will not be able to use Zani with anybody else other than Phoebe, and you will not be able to use Confession Phoebe with anybody else other than Zani. Sure, you can say that, well, Phoebe has additional value as a main DPS in Absolution mode, and that's true. But then why did you pull Zani? If you're pulling Zani, Phoebe's Absolution mode functionally doesn't exist, because why did you pull Zani then if you're talking about Phoebe's main DPS ability? So you essentially have pulled 2 units that have no reusability anywhere else on the roster. And guess what? I don't know any other team in the game that has such a fucked up lack of reuse, is like glued to the hip together, other than like Cantarella with Frolova. And guess what? Frolova does not need Cantarella. Frolova is one of the most unnecessary pulls in the game. Zani is like a Frolova that's just worse and also needs Cantarella and doesn't function without her. Frolova, if you don't have Cantarella, bro, there's so many options that you have. It's absolutely ridiculous. And that's the unfortunate part about this, ladies and gentlemen, because these characters over here, they're glued to the hip together and they will never be used with anybody else. And I just had not seen such a ridiculous pairing like this, that they both need each other and that they're both also, unfortunately, in no other fucking teams. And that's kind of just a fact. Some people like to say, oh, well, Cartithia needs Chakona. She needs her. Chakona can be used on so many other teams, it's absolutely unreal. Well, Sigrika, you say you love this character because she does so much damage. She needs Chuyan. Chuyan can be used with Galbreda, and he can also be used with Filova to support 3 different attributes. These other units have so many other upgrade options once they built their core, that to see this absolute doo-doo water pairing over here that cannot be used with anybody else, and they're just like locked, they're just this static block on your account, it's one of the worst investments a player can make. You build pretty much any other team in the game, and you will at least get some level of reuse. They might be able to be used with other characters, and you can like just pull another limited unit and then build another team. What other fucking team are you building after you invest in these two? None of them. You have nothing. You're basically met with a stone wall, and it's kind of just like, there's nowhere to really go from here. And so why, ladies and gentlemen, do you think there's so many people defending this character? It's called sunk cost fallacy. Because these players know that they made one of the worst investments in the game, so the only thing that makes them feel better is pretending that they're good value. And this is me telling you, yes, the team can perform well in Quickswap, but that's where it ends. It's a horrible pull value for basically any player imaginable. And if you don't Quickswap, you don't spend hours learning this team, you don't spend hours refining the rotation, and most importantly, you don't spend hours farming the echoes, well, guess what? You have the best Zani player ever, right? Best Zani NA, the Zani main representative telling you himself with his sweaty-ass casual gameplay, because we all know this shit ain't fucking... If you're calling this shit casual, you're retarded, bro. He performs 3 swaps before Shorekeeper even uses her liberation. This is sweaty shit. He performs this sweaty-ass goober gameplay and still barely clears with 9 seconds left. That's the truth of this unit. And don't worry, his Zani... it's well invested as well. Don't worry, brother man. He's got a lot of good echoes too. And so imagine if he was lower echo quality. Imagine if this one wasn't an 18.6% crit damage and 9.9% crit rate. Yeah, imagine if he didn't have 4 heavy attack damage rolls. Would he have still cleared? Maybe, maybe not. But that's the reality. High investment everywhere, even when you're doing a casual rotation. And that's what's proven by Wallensteins himself. And so, yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a bitter pill to swallow for very, very many Zani owners currently. But it's a pill that needs to be swallowed by the entire Wuthering Waves player base. Because this is one of the worst units in the game for any player to pull. Even if they're willing to take the time to learn the quick swap, invest in her, play sweaty, she's still a terrible pull. And that's the truth of it. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.